Hey everybody, Dallas again with Chaos Fragrances. Today we're back with another fragrance review. It's been a little while since I've done a full-on dedicated review for a fragrance, so I am back getting into the swing of things here, and I got a new fragrance, or a relatively new fragrance that I haven't really heard anyone talk about yet, and that one is from the house of Baldessarini, and this one is called Cool Force Sport. So I'm going to go ahead and take you through this whole fragrance. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, and things like that. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you go ahead and stick around. Before we actually get started with the review though, a couple things first. Make sure if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also like the video, and make sure you turn on the post notifications bell. That way you get notified of when I upload. I'm trying to put out as much free content as I can for you guys, so all I ask for in return is for you to subscribe and like the video. And of course, with that out of the way, let's go and jump into the scent. Let's go and start with the opening of this fragrance. This one starts off very fresh and citrusy. In the opening, I get this nice orange blast mixing with a little bit of bergamot. So it's a nice citrusy opening, and one thing that kind of is a little bit unique about this fragrance is it uses the note of cardamom and also pear. And that's something that you don't normally find in a fresh fragrance, and especially not in a sport fragrance, at least when we're talking about the note of cardamom. For those of you who are unaware, that's like a spicy, oriental, and sweet fragrance note, and that's something you normally find in more sweet fragrances, right? So for example, La Nuit de l'Homme, that fragrance basically made the note of cardamom very popular, and that is obviously not a sport fragrance, unlike this one. This fragrance has a little bit of an aromatic and spicy quality to it, mixing with that citrus that really makes it a little bit different. You know, there aren't too many fragrances that do that type of combination. And when I was first trying this fragrance out, I wasn't really expecting to be too, intrigued by it. But honestly, this one kind of captivated me a little bit, not gonna lie. This one impressed me. It's got this mature quality to it as well, which I do appreciate. A lot of citrus fragrances and like fresh fragrances tend to kind of go in a young smelling direction and just kind of casual and fresh. But this one has a little bit of mature and almost like dressy smell to it, which could make it more versatile for wearing it to any sort of event where you may want to be dressed up a little bit. Again, even though this is a sport fragrance, I do think that can be worn dressed up a little bit. And even though it is a sport fragrance, it does still have a little bit of a spicy sweetness to it, which again is something different, but I don't really mind it here in this scent. So let's go and touch on the performance on this scent. Longevity on my skin isn't the greatest. I'm getting about 6 to 7 hours consistently on my skin, which isn't bad by any means, but it's also not, overwhelmingly strong. Projection, it does sit closer to the skin as well. So performance overall, I would say, is okay. It gets the job done. It lasts through most of the workday or most of a school day, and it does project out enough to where people can smell you. So overall, I can't say it has bad performance because it really does work. It does do well, but it's not the greatest either. At the end of the day, fragrances in this type of category typically won't have the best performance, so it is about what I would expect. But that's just something that you'll want to keep in mind here going into this fragrance. It doesn't have the best longevity, but it still works. And on the other hand of things, just because this is a sport fragrance doesn't mean it lasts like 2 or 3 hours, because that is something that does happen with fresh, citrusy sport fragrances. Sometimes they have really awful performance. So with this one here, I definitely don't get awful performance. Again, I'm in the moderate range, so really it's about right in the middle. Some people are probably going to be expecting poor performance, which isn't the case. Some people may be expecting very strong performance, which isn't the case either. Overall, it just works and it gets the job done in the performance category. So let's go and talk about when you can wear this fragrance. Honestly, it's really going to be good for casual wear, mostly in the spring and summertime. Again, you can dress it up a little bit if you want to, because it does have a little bit of a spicy, mature touch. But I would say what this one is made for, and what I would mostly wear it for, is just casual wear, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, that type of fragrance. This one's going to work great for that. And again, it mostly is a spring and summer fragrance. It is citrus based, so because of that, works better in the warmer weather. To be realistic though, you can wear it pretty much all year round if you want to. Again, it does have enough depth to where it could work in the colder weather, but I definitely don't think it's suited for that. For me personally, I would be sticking to the warmer weather, and even in slightly cool weather like this, because summer is coming to an end, starting to move into fall, this one's still going to work relatively well in that weather as well. In the dry down of this scent, I get a little bit of neroli and a little bit of a woody touch as well. I also really quickly want to touch on the dry down of this scent, just because I didn't mention it in the beginning of the video. The dry down, I pick up on a little bit of neroli, which is kind of interesting. Again, this fragrance is using notes that oftentimes don't get used as much as some other notes out there. I mean, neroli is a pretty popular fragrance note, but typically in higher end fragrances is where you see that type of note. Even same with cardamom in a lot of cases. But here with this fragrance, a relatively inexpensive fragrance that you can pick up, it is using some pretty creative and artistic notes, and that's something that's pretty cool, especially when you're talking about, again, the price point of this one and the fact that I don't see or hear too many people talk about fragrances from this house. So really this scent isn't too bad. It is doing something different, and I respect it for that. Let's go and touch on compliment factor on this one, and it's probably going to do pretty well. I had my girlfriend try this one out, and she ended up really liking it a lot. She said she wants me to wear this one more, so I do think this one has the potential to be a good compliment getter. Performance does do well enough to where people are going to smell it on you, and it is like fresh and clean and really just mass appealing enough to where I would say most people are going to at least like the scent. There's some people out there who are going to absolutely love it. There's some people who are going to kind of think it's okay, but I really don't think too many people are going to actually dislike it or hate the scent. And overall, I do think this one is worth checking out if you're after kind of a different, unique citrus fragrance with a lot of depth to it and a little bit of a spicy, sweet touch. This one I would definitely recommend you go ahead and try. We have been having a lot of fragrances that have been kind of piggybacking off of one another in terms of new releases, but I would say that this one really kind of goes on its own. It really does its own thing, and that's something that's pretty cool. Because as I'm sure we can all agree, we haven't had too many new exciting releases here lately. We haven't really had anything that is a new type of DNA or anything like that. But this one, is kind of taking a step in the right direction of making something that's at least a little bit more unique than just copying off of a lot of the blue fragrances out there that's utilizing the notes of ambroxan and so on and so forth, which those are great fragrances. They do smell great, and at the end of the day, that's the reason why people are making them, right? They smell great, and people are going to buy them, and that's more money for those companies, which, from a business standpoint, it does make sense. But from the fragrance enthusiast side, it is annoying. But, there's no denying the fact that those types of fragrances do work really well. And of course, pretty much every brand has to release their own version of it. And I do carry this one on my website, chaosfragrances.com. We have it in stock right now for a limited time. So if you want to pick this one up, make sure you grab it while you have the chance before it goes out of stock. Again, I think it's definitely worth checking out if you want something a little bit different. So guys, my final thoughts on this one. At the end of the day, I really like the scent. I think it's a nice scent for the price, and I think even for the brand, something that doesn't get talked about that much. It's kind of a hidden gem, kind of a little bit underrated here. I can see a lot of people really liking the scent. I can see a lot of people picking this one up and having it as like their signature scent, something that they wear every day, because it can really be capable of that. So guys, I think I'm going to leave it here. If you've tried this one, down below in the comments, let me know what you think of it, and also tell me which fragrances you want to see me review. I'm going to be in the process here of picking up some more fragrances to get out for reviews and put in some other videos, so I just need to hear from you guys. We are getting into fall and winter season coming up soon, so probably going to start moving into that category in terms of what I'm going to be buying and reviewing. So if there are any semi-fresh or going in the more sweet direction fragrances that you want me to review and pick up and feature in videos, let me know down below in the comments. I'm really kind of excited to get into some different fragrances. I do love my citrus fragrances. Anyone who is a fan of this channel knows how much I love my fresh citrus fragrances, but I am ready for a change. So let me know down below in the comments what you want me to review, and that's going to do it, guys. So if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to leave a like down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I post. And that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure you stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.